Linda and Harper Audio Australia present this unabridged recording of Mercy Street, written by Tess Evans and read by Michael Veitch. The dedication reads, "To Terry, who has always believed in me. Mercy is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes." William Shakespeare, The Merchant of Venice, Act 4, Scene 1. Another day. George speaks the words aloud before remembering that there will be no answering voice from the other side of the bed. I know, another $1. A silly joke, its origins long forgotten, but over time it had somehow become an intimate morning ritual. When they were younger, this was a signal for him to turn to her sleep-warm body, and often as not they made love. Today he winces as he flexes his arthritic knees and makes his way to the bathroom. The tiles chill his bare feet. Still in his pyjamas, he heads for the kitchen, turns on the kettle and tips some cornflakes and milk into a bowl. His eyes narrow as he sniffs at the carton. Nose like a bloodhound, Pen used to say. He sniffs again. Could be a bit off. Putting on his glasses, he peers at the use-by date. 2 days ago. With a fatalistic shrug, he pours the remainder of the milk into his tea and watches with a grim sort of satisfaction as suspicious white specks float to the surface. I knew it. Now not only are his cornflakes inedible, his tea is undrinkable. He removes his glasses, looks around at the table, the chairs, the cupboards, as though he might find the answer, or even more importantly the question, inscribed on their surface. He passes a hand over his eyes, and his grip on the milk carton is suddenly precarious. Saved. George breathes out his relief. A near miss, though. He puts the milk back in the fridge before remembering that it's sour and needs to be thrown out. Why has everything become so hard? George will have to go to the shops on an empty stomach. He could have had toast, but who wants toast without a nice cup of tea? As he opens the front door, his jaw trembles and he blinks behind his glasses. The milk was always fresh when Pen was alive. Walking down the path, he turns away from his garden and the spectacle of new season roses. Their showy display assaults his senses. He heads towards Station Street, past the giant wooden dog that guards Fairfield Station. He hated it at first, but it's grown on him, and now he says a silent g'day as though to a casual acquaintance. The coffee shop on the corner is not yet busy. Later in the morning, it will be full of young mothers with toddlers in strollers and babies in prams, and the occasional businesswoman or bloke with one of those mini-computers. There'll be groups of older women too, their careful grooming no match for the youthful vitality that surrounds them. It's a bit early for the usual crowd, and there are only 3 customers, 2 women gulping down their pre-commute coffees, and a young man in a Save the Whales t-shirt reading a newspaper. Pen and her friends had coffee here every Friday after she retired. It had always been a bit intimidated by the easy camaraderie and the overwhelming femaleness of the patrons. Today, however, hunger drives him in for tea and toast. Miserable and self-conscious, fidgeting at his table for one, he begins to regret this uncharacteristically rash decision. It's the first time since he and Pen married that he has eaten alone in public. Probably the first time ever, now that he comes to think about it. Not that he and Pen ate out much. They'd go to the local club with friends a couple of times a month, and to a fancy restaurant on holidays or special occasions. Pen always looked the part at a restaurant, dressing right, knowing what to order, dealing with the waiters. Socially, he was safe with Pen. She'll be gone 3 years next May, and even after all that time, he wakes expecting to hear her silly, murmured response, I know, another $1. The early morning sun slants across the Formica table, and tiny gold specks twinkle and wink in its pale yellow light. But George rarely notices such things. He splays his square tradesman's hands and checks for the telltale tremor that a few more years...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?